I call the Personnel and Finance Committee to order. We have myself, Chairperson Isom, and Commissioner Fields, co-chair. Thank you. City representative is not here right now. Okay, minutes, November 19th. I don't think we have, did we have a meeting? No. I have no meetings. All right. Have personnel and HR. Good evening, Minister Strader Galladay.
Did you say minister again? Good evening. My reports represent December as well as January report. For human resources, to date, the HR department, we've been focusing on administrative tasks, recruitment, employee relations, compliance, benefit administration, onboarding, risk management, and workers' composition. Total employees to date is 64. We did have 4 terminations. 1 was in public works, 3 was in public safety. They were on-call fire. And we did have 2 graduates from the police academy. We have 1 person on medical leave.
The Public Works is on, does that say layoff? Or is this?
It's termination /
Termination
layoff,
is,
but it was termination.
are we going to?
For public works, it is out on Paycor, correct? Yes, it's a full-time CDL driver position, heavy equipment operator.
And the on-call was the fire department?
Correct. And we did have 2 resumes for the finance director position.
Have updated resumes on the finance director in the packets. Commissioner Henry, we'll make sure all the commissioners get them. Get that. And take a good look at them. Look, and the job descriptions in there as well. 6 months.
Last 6 months,
Yeah, so we good.
not weeks.
I mean, if you only wanted to pass 6 weeks, you would have the 2 new ones that are on top, that's it.
Yep, the 2 new ones, one was in November and the other was this month in January.
I had 1,
Yeah. So,
even last 6 months.
Okay.
That's probably what we're gonna end up with, you know?
So we'll make sure everybody, all the commissioners, take a look at that and candidate.
For the city income tax, because we're done with, any more questions on personnel?
Any more questions with HR?
No, thank you.
Thanks. For the city income tax, to date, we continue to process the individual tax returns as well as business payments and incoming mail. Our current focus is on the annual reconciliation forms for businesses. Those forms are basically for any businesses that are withholding city income taxes from their employees. So they would have to fill out a form as well as provide W-2s for all of their employees. These forms are due by February the 2nd of this year. So that's my concentration now, is to make sure all the reconciliation forms are in the system. I really want to get that completed before I even start doing the tax returns, because it just makes it easier. And so far in 2025, our office processed 2,043 income tax returns, 525 was residents, and 1,518 was non-resident tax returns. Tax returns are due this year, April the 30th. It's always 15 days after the regular tax season ends. The matrix, I did a payment comparison from tax year 2024 and 2025. For the individual tax returns, we were up 57.57%. For the withholdings, we were down 15.08%. Our deposits were down 7.47%. Our refunds were down 26.34%, and our revenue was up 32.49%.
Scholar Day, going back to in 2025, the total tax returns you had 525 residents
That's correct.
and 1,500. So how that work? Do we have more people in the city or what?
No, I'm pretty sure it's probably a lot of people that actually lives in a city that is not filling out their tax returns. However, we do have a large portion of the city of people that doesn't have earned income because it is based off of earned income, not retirement or if, right, it's earned, all earned income.
Marinetta?
Any questions? I said that was a good question.
Yeah. Any,
I'm sorry, I do have a question. Non-residents is like township, or how is that categorized, or who all falls into that?
Non-residents is anyone that does not live inside the city limits of Benton Harbor. So if you live, just say if you do live in Benton Township, but you work in this Benton Harbor, you're considered a non-resident.
city income tax?
That was it.
Could you give us a balance? I know Mr. Duncan would.
That comes from the finance
Finance.
department.
Okay, I think I've seen it. Okay, we'll make sure Mr. Duncan get that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Back a little bit.
Okay.
For the people, the person was fired off of the public works. Was that?
He resigned.
Okay, that's all I wanted. Thank you.
That's it. Thank you.
Was that your question?
That was my.
Okay. Oh,
Commissioner Henry.
I have an off-the-wall question to ask to pick Mrs. Galladay brain about.
uh-oh.
When we evaluate a candidate for employment, is there some kind of scale base that you base their evaluation on? I mean, do you, like, say you give them so many points for experience, or how do you do that?
Depends on the position. So, depending upon the position, that's how it's basically evaluated. The director of that department has a lot to say regarding who actually works for them. But we really don't get a lot of people that qualifies. So just state that, like for the CDL driver position that we have in Public Works, you would get a lot of people that don't have a CDL license. So they're automatically disqualified because they don't have a CDL license. But when we do, by chance, get someone with a CDL license, of course, it goes by several things, but more than likely that person will get an interview.
Just
And more
because
than
they have a
likely,
license?
just because they have a CDL license.
Then how would you grade him if he had a CDL license and he had no experience? Would you take any, I'm trying to figure out how you make determination of, is it a point system?
So it's not necessarily a point system, even though we do have like an interview sheet. So normally, once we do the interview, if we have several candidates, just say if we have 2 or 3 candidates that have a CDL license, after we do the interview, then myself, the director, and at times, depending on the position, Mr. Lewis sit in and we discuss it among ourselves, who we think the best candidate would be.
So there's really no formula.
Not a
It's
formula.
just,
No.
okay.
Even though the sheet is set up in a formula base, However, we don't get that many people to, it doesn't make a difference, to be honest. It's easier just kind of talk it amongst each other.
Okay.
But it's very seldomly we get one or two candidates that, well, two or more candidates for a position.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Great job. Some money now here, so everybody just take a pause, take a deep breath, and we're gonna talk about the financials. Coming from the Rhonda, I'm just gonna read what she.
Do you have a copy that you could give to all the elected officials of what Rhonda really said?
Yeah.
We lose some,
I forwarded it to all the commissioners.
It's in. Yeah.
we lose some when somebody reads it.
Okay.
Everybody did get that email.
The general fund and utility fund cash balances are reported at zero on the chart, even though both funds have a blank balance. However, bank.
Yeah, that makes a difference.
Bank, yeah, bank balance. However, the balances are not enough to cover outstanding payables that still need to be paid. Major road cash is very low due to expenses for water and sewer projects paid for by the road fund for storm sewers and road work that were unallowable expenses for both grants. Utility fund expenditures are high compared to last year due to legal costs for the lead line lawsuit. At the end of December, the utility fund past due balance over 60 days was $239,000, or 27% of the $865,000 total accounts receivable balance. Following the summary slides is full detail on the December 31st to 2025 revenue and expenditure reports. I hope everybody got their report out. Major operating cash accounts. You can see from year to date, from 24, the general fund, starting with that, you can see we had about $111,000 in it around the ending time in 24 compared to 25, where we at now. What I just read to you, the income tax is down. City income tax, major and local road street fund is down. You can see the numbers right there. Permanent improvement down. Utility funds way down, like we just said, zero. And property taxes collection fund is down about half. So you can see city income tax, we have about 1.7, close to about 1.8 in the city for the city income tax. And we about halfway through the budget, almost halfway through the budget. Where you at with the budget? Commissioner, you have any financial questions you want to ask about the financial report or something that you don't?
So how much did we withdraw in 2025?
From what?
The general fund to pay bills? Was it like, I know it was like 400,000, then it was 8,
It was 480 and
that little requested to ask from the general fund. Do you have that off?
Are you talking about the income tax?
from the city income tax, we had two draws.
From the general fund? That's where he was asking funds from, right?
City income tax.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay.
It was, city manager, you remember the two draws we had from the city income tax? I know it was 480 and
And the second one was 800,000.
800. to pay bills with. Okay. Any more questions? You see, through with the budget yet, but we about halfway through. 6 months through the budget.
If I might expand just a little bit on what you were saying, your situation with, you may all recall that at one point, I believe the city mayor and perhaps Mr. Mitchell had been dismissed from those suits. And there was a point last year when a judge overturned that and made those suits active again. And when that started, our bills went way up. We started getting bills because immediately Boardman had to start doing depositions, and they were having to pay for the clerks, they were having to pay the people to do part and whatnot, and that bill began to climb. I believe right now we owe them a rather significant amount, but my point is the additional demand that was put on cash flow to pay as rapidly as we could on those bills helped to create a cash flow shortage as well as a budget problem because we had not budgeted for all of that. We thought the thing was, like I said, had been part of it dismissed. But anyway, that's what I want to make you aware of.
City manager, could you give us expenditure on that? So we'll know. You can send it to all the commissioners or something. How much we paid out? It's still ongoing, or just
We still have a rather substantial balance with Boardman.
Boardman.
And we'll be paying them to try to get rid of that balance as soon as we can. But it's going to affect cash flow, and we're going to, and that's part of the reason that we've got one resolution before you tonight to transfer money so we can cover part of the cash flow. But we're going to have to do more than that to get through the term. Remember, we're in the period now where there are no more property taxes coming in or anything until about August. And there's just not going to be enough cash coming through the door to cover everything. So we'll need to do this transfer and some other things in order to deal with the city's cash flow need.
question. Commissioner Henry.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to ask you, Chair, I know you're a sensible man, you got a family, and you handle your business because you're doing well. What will happen in your household if you lost one of your incomes? Would you cut back or would you spend more? Would you cut back or would you spend more?
You got to make a cutback. Make cuts.
Well, what is the city's problem? How come every time there's an expense come up for frivolous, and I'm using that word because that's my opinion, for something very frivolous that net you nothing, and we spend the money for it? So I've been sitting listening to Miss Hildebrand tell us from this spot right here for a year or two that we don't have any money. And to prove it, we always trying to get it from some other source. So, through the chair, Mr. Little, and the city manager, assistant city manager, we're going to try to turn down some of this extra spending because it's not making sense. Nobody would do that unless you were in a plan to fail. And then you're on the right track.
Through the
City
chair.
Manager, could you expand on the cost savings we trying the cost cuttings?
I certainly will, but I'd like to, if it's all right, sir, ask first, could you give me an example of this frivolous spending you're talking about?
Well, let me go back to the first thing that just dogged me. For the $25,000 we gave for the plaza, that's the first thing that popped right out to me. Somebody just should have gave us a knuckle sandwich. Boom! Because now they gave us the 25,000 back. They didn't even really need it, and then we needed it to do a whole lot of other things. That was the first one. Now I could probably give you 10 more on my opinion that I call fruitless and frivolous.
If you would, go ahead. I'd like to know what they were.
Well, we'll talk about it at our meeting, because I can't pull it up out of my head right now. And I want to have some real solid information, and when it come out of my head, I want to have the receipts to go with it.
As
So
you mentioned
when we
about
have our
the,
monthly meeting, I'll put that on my agenda we're gonna talk about.
I'll look forward to that.
Okay.
As you mentioned about the 25,000, it didn't go, the value of it when the recommendation was first made to do it was the fact that by the city contributing 25,000, there was going to be almost $2 million put into that. Our 25 would have been a minor amount to help make that happen. But as you said, it wasn't used and subsequently was used for another very valuable purpose for the city that there was nothing frivolous about, and that is this city has not received $1 of recreation money through DNR or the National Park Service since 2015. And that's because of that conversion that happened on the mitigation property where the dialysis center is. This 25,000 is going to cover the cost of the appraisals necessary to identify properties that met their requirements and value so that we could try to close that out and reopen our access to recreational funding.
I'm really sorry you opened that door, but we're gonna have to have that. That's a long conversation, Mr. Little, about that contaminated property. So, please, we can't even count that because it hasn't even came to fruition. So, I don't know why you.
It has come to
I made
fruition.
a statement, and I only made it because it was my opinion, and I'm sorry if I got at you about something, but that's my opinion, and I'm going to stand on it. And I really don't want to have a big discussion about it until it's time for you and I to sit down on our monthly meeting and talk about it. So, all of that, I understand. But I'm still standing on what I said. It's my opinion. When people say other things, it sends me out in what la la land. What other things? So we talked about other things. I'm just not into that vague conversation. I need to know who said it, who heard them say it, and then I want to find out why they said it. So it's just too much fluff for me in this conversation. It's too much fluff.
Well, I will certainly look forward to your identifying those areas that you feel, in your opinion, are like that. I was only responding because you mentioned the 25,000 and knowing
No,
the
you
area.
asked me about it, and I told you that was the first thing that popped in my head.
Yes.
So you asked me. I wasn't gonna talk about it,
I
but
understand.
you asked me, and I gave it to you.
Commissioner Fields?
I actually have, I don't know, questions along that line as well. I know just in the past, there has been questions as to what you did or the plan in regards to do some cost savings. So what were some different things that has occurred, or we can talk about this too at our meeting at a different time, but I want to be transparent at meetings. And if we're at a meeting and we're saying we have no money and, residents are going to ask me, well, what are you guys doing about that? Or what can you cut back on? And one of the things that stick out in my mind is porta potties. I feel like we need to not plan to do that this year, and we need to have, I don't know what we need to figure out, but porta potties shouldn't be in parks, and that is my opinion on that. But I would like to know what are some things that you have in place and some ideas. I feel like Isom just referenced that on some cutbacks, but I really would like to know, being that it's blatantly stated that we have nothing.
Thank you, and I will be setting up a meeting to meet with you all to go through some of those things, because I want to give you the information in terms of both what we're doing to cut and also what we're doing to increase revenues. We've got to do both.
I want to ask this question, City Manager, about the utility fund. It's saying we $865,000 short, right? A utility fund, total accounts, the balance, outstanding. The whole utility, that's water payment too. Is some of the customers on water plans, or in payment plans, water off? Or what is
We
it?
have a number of customers who are on payment plans. You will recall that only in the first part of last year, I reinstituted the collection process because people had been going for several years without paying any water, sewer, or trash. And, it's easy for people to forget, but the fact is, this city had been running a deficit in that water utility fund since 2015. It wasn't showing up specifically that way because general fund was absorbing it, and but it continued on. We then went through the period where we had $10 million of ARPA funds, and that made everything look good, like there was no problem. When we got to the point where we were talking about spending the $2 million to pay water bills, you may recall that I was saying back then, you need that money very bad. But we did what we did. And as a consequence, we have what we have. And that most of this deficit we're talking about was sitting there then.
Continue to grow, right? And it's still growing. Questions, Commissioner Fields?
No.
Commissioner Henry? About the financials?
Is there a solution for that
Solution?
deficit? There's got to be some kind. You just can't say it's
So-
been going on since
So-
2015.
Let me just say,
Don't do nothing about it.
If
City
I
Manager
might-
just said what he's.
If I might try to help you with that. The first action that I took to try to reduce that deficit was laying off the city staff that was working with it, because there was no need to have both the staff and F&B. The staff didn't have the certification necessary. So when Eagle asked you, the commission, whether you were going to run that plant with city staff or with a contractor, it really was a no-brainer. You could not run it with city staff with no certified employees at all. And you will all remember that employees had gone through taking the test 5, 6, and 7 years and not passed it. So when they were laid off, the $2 million deficit would have dropped back to around 1.7, 1.6. But right behind that, here comes the lawsuit and the attorney bills, so it went back up. These things not stagnant. They don't stay. They move every day with whatever's going on. You know, just like we're talking about, if we are successful at solving this issue with DNR and the National Park Service, those grants that we get through them can be up to $400,000. That's a significant trade-off for the $25,000 it costs to pay for the appraisals on it. I heard what you said, Madam Commissioner, about porta potties. But after you get a couple of weeks of people out doing things on the ground and complaints start coming in about it and pictures start showing up, we'll have to do something. We can't operate those parks without some means to be able to use a restroom.
Just one more question, City Manager. Are we looking at ways that we can, I know we pump a lot of water out of that plant. Are we trying to find ways that we can sell some of that water? I know we,
Yes, sir, we certainly are. We're looking for every possibility that we can. We have hoping that the electrical data centers that they were talking about might take place, which might help both us and the township. Made some inquiries trying to find out if we could get somebody that would be interested in buying bottled water from our plant. The chemical tests and so forth on our water, it's about as good as it can get anywhere. But all of these things we're doing and doing them at the same time. Try to make things happen.
Commissioner Henry?
Well, water is more important than oil. Water, 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 and we got water. So I just think that we should encourage the city manager and staff to go after the initiative to sell that water somewhere. Budweiser would love to have some water to make Budweiser. So if it's got to come from the elected officials. So staff will know exactly where we want things to go. And with the skills that they have, we can move forward with somebody buying that water. So I just think it just has to be an initiative to ask staff to move forward with that. So it'll have to come out of this committee, and I appreciate it. Because we got it going on. Once he get his hooks in it, we the water community's gonna be in trouble. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Duncan?
Well, I hope we can sell enough water so we can cut off some of this water bill we're getting. Porta potties in the parks. We got a porta potty on the river. You can't even get into the real bathroom. I think that's just a monument or something. Maybe you could tell me, because you were talking about it, and I'm gonna bring you back. If you're using the bathroom outside, that's nasty. And it's happening, and it hasn't stopped. If somebody's in the porta potty and somebody got to go to the bathroom, where they go? They don't leave. They go behind the porta potty, they go down by the river. We've been through all of this before. So they're necessary, especially if we're not gonna use a public bathroom down there. and I know you guys don't want to talk about that. I asked you, the commissioner, to check on down there a lot. I see you haven't. So I'm going to suggest you put another porta potty down there to go with the one that's down there next to the building where the bathroom is. I'm from the project. When I got to go to the bathroom, I'm going to the bathroom. Another thing, I know you're ready to go. I know you are. You always do this. You, don't rush me in because I'm not in a hurry. I'm trying to get you guys out here. I want to say something about that too while I'm at it. When I come in here, I only have a question or two to ask, and it's not like I want to debate with you guys every time I come and sit here. So let's put it on the agenda to leave Mr. Duncan alone until he finished talking about what he got to say so he can get out of y'all face. Because I know you get tired of hearing something was beneficial. Porta potties are if we don't have a bathroom. And I'm not saying nothing against what you suggested or nothing, but you need porta potties downtown that's open all year round. Let me say that because you guys don't understand it because you got a bathroom at home and on the job. But it's a lot of us people who don't. So you took me off my point. And I really don't like that. That's why I said I got a problem and I understand my problem, but I don't think you guys understand y'all's. So leave me alone until I say what I need to say so I can go back to that corner over there.
It was a great question, Mr. Duncan. We're going to work on a plan that we can keep the bathrooms open. It must be monitored or something. We can do better as a people, I think, to make this happen.
You say you can or you should.
We should. It's a new bathrooms in Union Park, Broadway Park, Yarborough Park, new bathrooms. You know, Yarborough Park.
It should be, though.
Nice bathrooms. I went in there, and we should be able to keep them clean and use them. You know, not tear them up, destroy them. That's not the goal.
You don't have no control over that, but you
I'm
do
saying
have
we have to-
control over taking care of them. So that's what you got to do.
Yep.
I mean,
We'll put that on public safety committee. We'll talk about it before spring get here.
okay, I thought I would think of what I wanted.
Thank you,
to say
Commissioner
before I got
Fields.
away from here. Union and May Street, illegal dumping. I've been taking care of it, and I will. Like I told you, I'm going to make sure that that corner's not going to look the way some people want it to look. Because you get people to come by, drive by, and just throw all of the trash and stuff right on out the window. So you notice, you come through there, you don't see that stuff laying around there. So, no, you ain't got to appreciate this. Is something that I'm going to do as a concerned citizen. Like, everybody should do something. If you see something on the ground in front of your house, go pick it up. It's in front of your house. It look bad, too. I ain't saying that it's happening, but it could. So, thanks for hearing me out.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan.
Could I just add
Yeah.
something on what he's saying? He is absolutely right. And if more people in the city were like that and would do their part to try to help, we could keep our city clean. Because it's a fact of life that we have a certain element within the city that makes no effort to try to maintain decorum. I've seen them even out in front of my house, back a car out, open the door and kick McDonald bags and cups and straws and everything out in front of the, I went out there one day and confronted them, and I told my neighbors, them people come back over here, you let them know if I see them do that again, I'm going to try my best to get them in jail. Because it's just ridiculous. The same thing with dumping in alleys and lots and stuff, and a lot of people know who's doing that. But because they know them or related to them or whatever, they don't turn them in. But we're going to step up our efforts to catch some of these people and impound their vehicles and take them through the process to stop it. Because we can't stop it. We don't have enough people, enough trucks, enough money to go around all day, every day behind every person dumping and clean up behind 'em.
Commissioner Fields.
I'm not suggesting send nobody to jail, let me say that. But you gotta stop it some kind of way, fines or first offense or something like that to get your point across. I'm good with that, but I'm not gonna ever suggest that you send somebody to jail. So, thank you.
Fields.
Can this be the last comment on the porta potties? I again, do not feel that it's sanitary to have porta potties. People go with their kids. Where are you going to change your child at? I don't want to use a porta potty when there's a bathroom that is for the park. So we'll work on something because it's not my goal to have porta potties through a park. I don't know what we need to figure out. Maybe it'd be cheaper than to give some kind of reward system for those that report it versus paying for porta potties. I don't want to use a porta potty. I go to the parks. I don't want to use a porta potty. And then we have breastfeeding individuals that go out and people with kids. They can't. How are you going to change? I don't want to use a porta potty, and people don't either. And that's what comes back.
If I might just share the information, not at all debating the issue. What we did was the only thing we could do that was cost effective within our means. Before toilets down here, Yarborough Park, we had them up at Union Park. And what was happening? Doors used restrooms, and when the days ended, games all over one night, you go in there and look, one while people were throwing stuff up on the wall, they were breaking the fixtures, that stuff cost a lot of money to try to replace it. And we don't have staff that's available to go around and clean them every day, and especially at the level that is necessary when you have people throwing eggs and stuff that's not even germane to the park against the wall and stuff like that. So it wound up being a situation where the only thing we could do is just close them because we didn't have people that we could pay to monitor and guard them and so forth. So we wound up closing the porta potty outside. We were concerned we were gonna have the same thing down here at Yarborough if we didn't have staff there to watch it and monitor it. And so for that reason, again, it was cheaper to put porta potties and provide some relief than it was to lock them up and not provide anything, because we couldn't afford to just leave them open and let them come in there and smash the bowls and the fixtures and mirrors and everything. And that's what they do. Unfortunately, I know you're probably aware, this past summer, we went through this problem up here at Hall Park. We got people we're paying out there to work every day. And when they finish in the evening, here somebody goes running up through there with four-wheelers and whatnot and knock down all of the stakes that we had paid engineers to mark in and so forth. And I know you remember the situation with the sign. Right after Whirlpool put a $9,000 sign on Martin Park there saying City of Benton Harbor, Martin Park. Somebody goes through there and smashes it and tears it all to pieces. We just don't have the security, the money for security at the level that would be necessary to control this stuff. So we're just doing the next best thing we can. And we're wide open to ideas from anyone and to try to find better solutions.
I have a question. Did we spend money for Mr. Mitchell through city income tax to That's a question.
You say that,
Did we spend any city income tax on a lawsuit with Mr. Mitchell?
you didn't have to because you had $10 million that came in from ARPA, from the federal government, that you were using through 20, I think part of 21, 22, 23, and I think the last of it was spent in early 24, I believe, when that 2 point some million was spent.
Okay. It's always something.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan. All right, we're gonna get back to the financial, anything else?
Can we use some of the city income tax money to take care of the bathrooms?
We're gonna take that to the Public Safety Committee.
I'm asking
Well, we gotta,
you and I'm asking city manager. Can we use city income tax money to even put up another bathroom wherever we need it?
no.
Why?
It's not, Alex, it's the city income taxes for roads, streets, and alleys, and infrastructure. It's not for putting up bathrooms.
It's not, that's not infrastructure.
Roads, streets, and alleys, sidewalks,
That's not
and deemed emergencies.
Bathrooms are not infrastructure. Say,
Roads,
No,
streets,
you can't say yes or
alleys.
No, you got me standing here.
No, it's not.
Okay, that's what I want to hear. Thank you.
All right. Next, we have new business. Resolution approving the transfer of income tax funds for city operation. Read the resolution to get everybody on. Item before the commission, a resolution to approve the transfer of income tax funds to general. Oh, a new resolution to approve the transfer of income tax funds to the general fund by the Ben Harbor City Commission. Recommendation: the Ben Harbor City Commission established the need that a needs exists as defined in the income tax ordinance and approves the transfer of $420,000 to the general fund for operations. Justification: the majority, after a majority vote of electors of the city of Benton Harbor at a general election held on November 7, 2017, Chapter 40 of the City Code of Ordinances was amended on January 1st, 2018 to include the uniform city income tax. The city income tax fund is a revenue source established in 2018 to fund infrastructure investment and supplement the city of Ben Harbor general fund when the conditions of the resolutions are met as deemed by the city commission as an emergency. Although revenue is streamed from the sources such as state shared revenue, property tax, Michigan cannabis shared revenue, these are not sufficient to address the rising costs of expenses and expenditures to continue providing necessary city services. The impact would be a reduction in the income tax fund of the amount transferred. That's what we have before us. Any questions, Commissioner Fields? City Manager, so just for just operation general fund, some bills we owe, like you just said, the attorney fees, and it's not just attorney fees, though. I'm saying no.
Understand, just to help, because I'm realizing more and more that while I know I'm doing the best to work with what we got, everybody doesn't understand it. Every month, there's a minimum $102,000 that's paid to F&V. For the next 5 months to 6 months, there's going to be $50,000 a month that has to be paid to the attorneys to retire that bill. In addition, you've got your utility bills for city hall, water plant, lights and everything else. You somebody asked a question a while ago about your home. To draw a comparison, fixed costs with a home, regardless of whether you turn the lights on or the water or even go in the home, you still got a mortgage, you still got insurance. Those are your fixed costs. You got other kinds of taxes. They don't care whether you live in it or not. If you still got it, you got to pay the taxes. You got to pay the mortgage. You got to, all that kind of stuff. It's the same way with city government, except ours gets much, much larger in terms of fixed costs. Again, it is all the utility bills. It's the insurance. Our insurance is $700,000 a year, 300,000 short of $1 million. You got, I mean, the overhead is just tremendous. And that's part of the basic cash flow. And then when you get beyond that, I mean, for example, your police department and public works, those are practically fixed costs because the union contracts and so forth require certain levels that have to be maintained. So when you get down to the things that are left that you can decide do or don't do, there's not a whole lot of them. But those are the things that then get people to screaming, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you picking up the trash faster that people are leaving on lots? And those are more variable. So that's what's happening. No, the 426 will help to get us through February. And the other means that we'll be coming back to you with will help take care of the other months until we start receiving our property tax revenues.
Question. Have we received the cannabis revenue yet? Our share of that? No, it probably.
We usually do. I don't think we have for this year yet. We did for last year, and that's not a real huge amount, but every little bit helps.
So how much do we pay Plant Morant versus how much we would pay a financial director?
It's an hourly rate. I will get that information for you. Finance director, when we had the one for a while last year, I think we were paying him something like 75,000 plus 600 a month to go back and forth and whatnot. And realistically, I'm sure the commissioner can share the story with you in terms of how much good that did.
So you have how long have we been playing Plant Moran?
Moran was here for years before I came. I don't know, I believe. I really don't know for sure, but it's been quite a while. And part of the problem is finding a competent, qualified person able and willing to do the work. Because most finance directors in most places they're hired, they've got staff to do the work and they're managing. We don't have that. Your finance director's got to roll up his sleeves and do the work. That's what Plant Moran does for us.
So you have no estimate at this time as to how much we're paying Plant Moran? Is it monthly? I don't know offhand.
We pay them monthly, but it's an hourly rate. And I'll get the specifics on that for you.
Mr. Henry?
Honorable Chair, I met with city manager one day, and he gave me this great idea about drafting a letter and sending it off to the traditional black universities and state of Michigan universities and seeing if we can get some qualified people to move into Benton Harbor and work here. So that's something that I'm asking the chair to put it in a memorandum and have the full council to have an agreement that the city manager should draft us a letter so we can start that process. I thought it was a great idea when he said it. It took a few seconds for it to dawn on me what he said, but that's perfect for what we need is qualified people to work for the city. So I have a feeling that someone would love to come to this beautiful little cottage town, 10 miles from the lake and 2 miles from a river, beautiful golf course. They'll come here and just thump some experience down on us. And I thank the city manager for giving me that thought. But I've asked that you implement that through your committee, or I'm not sure exactly how you can do it, but our clerk can tell us how to do it, the best way to do it, to get him, our city manager, to know that we are all in agreement, or the majority of us in agreement.
Thank you, Commissioner Henry. City Manager, you start that process on that?
As a matter of fact, I just want to say, it was a good idea when we did it. It worked for us. We hired a number of black police officers from some of the traditional black universities back in the 80s. And it would work for us now, except we got to have some money. Right now, we can't hire anybody. We can barely hold on to the people we got.
We got money. We got clout. We're gonna get what's that little thing you always say? Say it so I can say it again. I'm gonna say it right after you tell me what you say.
Expect great things.
That's what I'm talking about. So the great things that, I mean, Benton Harbor's been poor for a long time. And we found a way to make things happen for ourselves, and this is another thing that we need to make happen. So, if we can get a good candidate to come in that just want to help out. I know a guy, we had a conversation with him. He's used to getting big money, but he came and we had a discount when he came to help out. And we can do the same thing. We can do the same thing with somebody else. So, ask the clerk, Honorable Chair, what is the best way to get that to be official
Okay.
for action?
Duly noted.
She like, who?
The city manager said he's.
You
The
can
city
make it
manager
happen
said he
like
gonna
just
write
like
it.
that.
City manager said he gonna. You got city.
Definitely do that when we get to where we can hire someone. No question.
See, now he's saying there's a but and a if. I'm saying put it out there, and we'll do what we can. We already got a position that we're looking for. Quite a few positions we're looking for. The money is there, and if we need to, we can take it out of some other fund and put it in the fund that we need it in. So I need it to be official, so however it gets done. And then if it doesn't work out, all we did was send out some letters and it didn't work out. But you gotta try. So how do we, ask the clerk, Honorable Chair, is the best way to make that an actual thing to do?
City manager.
Again, once we get some money, then we can do that. We can pursue that and utilize it.
That's not what I'm asking you to do, Chair. For him to tell me if we get some money. I'm saying, put it out there, and we're gonna get some money to what we need is a financial director.
We can write some letters. We can write some letters.
Got a
Write the letter, Chair. Well, that's what I wanna see, a letter, a draft of letter that we can send out to the alumni to see if we get somebody to come in and help us. Not if we get some money. We need to do it, and if it works, it works.
You can fill this position.
Now, if I could, one thing though, think about, because, none of these things happen in vacuums. Your job description requires some experience as well as a certain level of completed training. Going to a traditional black college to get a candidate that may have the training, but they're not going to have the experience. It'd be a trainee coming right out the chute. You don't want a trainee for a finance director.
I said alumni. I didn't say new graduates. I said people that has probably been work for the federal government for 35 years and retired and would love to come to Ben Harbor. I said alumni. I just don't
we'll
see
draft that
nobody,
letter.
God dying and making nobody predicting the future.
He
I'm
said-
sick of
that
somebody
letter.
Go
telling
ahead.
me that I can't do it because they think I can't do it.
All right. He said he gonna draft a letter. There you go. And you send it to everybody. Thank you, City Manager. We're gonna move that forward, that resolution. Can I get consensus? Thank you. Thank you. Nothing else? Any questions? You got a question you want? Thanks for being here tonight. Thanks for coming.
I just think that we should probably utilize local, no, I don't, do I have to?
Yeah, that's
Well, I just don't know if it's something I should say on the mic, because I'm offering up my services. Um, Okay, it's my first time here. Hello. My name is Vikshanda Newburn. I work with Youth Solutions. It's a sister subsidiary to Michigan Works, and we do youth programming. And I was thinking about some of the ways that we could assist in helping if we create a plan and we're not just jumping into things. I think we could assist this summer with some youth employment opportunities that could potentially weigh in on not having enough people monitoring our parks and things like that. Maybe some of those 16 to 24-year-olds could get into those positions. Yeah.
Can you explain what that means? Will it be at any expense to the city?
It will not be of any expense to the city because the grant that has come down from the state is for 16 to 24-year-olds to gain work experience, where we pay them $15 an hour. Currently, we're functioning about 5 weeks, and we want to get those to 8 weeks work experiences where they'll get 20 hours a week in that work experience. And that could assist with not having enough people. We did have some youth workers this summer do public works, and I think that was great. We did have a youth maybe hired in potentially for the trash. I'm sorry, I don't know what y'all call the trash people. But yes, I think it'll be awesome if we could start planning that out in advance so that we can have that monetization of the parks this summer.
All right, yeah, we can do that. Thank you for coming, Vikshanda.
Yes? And also think about some cost-effective porta potties.
No porta potty, we want some
Well-
bathrooms built.
Like
Thank
a,
you.
What is it called? Like a standalone structure? Yeah, something like that, not necessarily porta potty.
Thank you. You get that, City Manager, about the youth? We do that every year.
But we don't really have a plan. I think we have to, have some meetings and really plan it out better.
The last 3 years, we started about middle of February to working on getting it together. 3 years ago, worked wonderfully because they approached us and they provided the people on time. We went back the next year. We got promised people Then we were told that they just didn't have enough people come in. And summer was halfway over before we got 2 or 3. And the same thing happened this past year.
Yeah, so I think what the issue was paperwork and getting paperwork back on time, but that's, one of the big issues. That we had a problem getting our worksite agreement signed in a timely manner, so it pushed things out. That was one of the issues.
Thank you. It'll be better this year.
Right.
All right. Thank you so much for coming. That's good information. Thank you. Any more questions? This